like a battery. I'm staying charged on my feet. I'm like a factory. Dropping lines like an assembly.
How you doing, guys? Welcome to ZukaTube, and today we're going to be reviewing a movie called Escape Room: Tournament of Champions. This is a sequel. It just got released July 16th. I'm going to play the trailer, give you a summary, just show you a couple clips, talk about the movie, give you my review, and then we'll dive into some spoilers, all right? So let's get right into this trailer.
We play the game or we die.
If everybody remembers the last Escape Room movie.
We were lucky to get out of those escape rooms alive.
I need to know that the criminals who killed the 4 people in front of me are held accountable.
As you can see, these two characters here are back.
I know this is a lot to ask, but thank you for coming with me. Do you hear that?
Damn, can't even travel safely.
You gotta be kidding me.
Welcome to Minos Escape Rooms.
No.
Minos is back.
You guys have played the game before?
So what is this? Like a tournament of champions?
I don't know, guy's freaking out.
Solve the puzzles or we
Is he a champion?
False advertising
We'll
must be
find
good.
out.
This ad, yourself is missing an E.
So maybe we pull the corresponding handles with a missing letter. Yes! E. M&A.
Come on, we don't have time!
The missing letters are W, B, and O!
Dun, dun, dun.
This is way bigger than last time. Gotta try something, right?
Yeah, things are a lot more over the top.
There's a special reason each of us survived. I can't feel physical pain. Just imagine the kinds of puzzles they came up with for me.
Take a picture. It will last longer. It's a clue. This looks just like the lighthouse on the postcard. Grab his hand! It's over. I'm done running. We can beat them at their own game.
Beat them at their own game.
Free again.
We can make it stop! We're gonna get us killed. Come on. I'm not playing your game. Not now. Not ever.
Dang, she ain't playing the game.
We made it.
We made it!
I don't understand.
Dang.
Oh, my game. Oh, no.
There's a lot of that kind of stuff going on in this. They do a lot of that, like in the trailer right there at the end, where they kind of just switch you in and out of situations where you almost think you made it out kind of deal. All right, but let's just read the summary first, right? 6 people unwittingly find themselves locked in another series of escape rooms, slowly uncovering what they have in common to survive and discovering they've all played the game before. Basically what they show you in the trailer, right? It's pretty typical intro, you know, the whole deal. These 2 original characters from the first one that survived are basically haunted by the whole situation and want to kind of prevent this from happening in the future, so they start to go and try to find where the source of all this is, like where Minos is and how they're putting this all together, right? And they've been tracking it, and they finally get up the balls to go there, but when they go there, they're on their way. Well, they don't even get there. They're on their way. As you can see, they're just on a train, and boom, they get put into the game. And at that point, you see there's a few other people that were hand-selected that also played the game. So it's interesting in that aspect because they're going to ramp everything up, you know, right off the bat. Because if you've seen the first one, in this one, you have to know the standard they're kind of setting and knowing that they're raising that bar a little bit. So they do seem a little over-exaggerated sometimes and ridiculous. I mean, Minos has got to be a multi-billion-dollar company to be able to do all of these things, and it's pretty interesting to see how some of the puzzles play out, and you can kind of make up for some of the things where you would be like, it's kind of ridiculous they thought of that so easily, or that they, you know, did this more over-the-top kind of puzzle because they're supposed to be champions. It's Escape Room Tournament of Champions. So, like, these people are already experienced and apparently hand-selected as the smarter group of individuals to play the game. Now, you get to see a lot of cool stuff. Like right in the beginning, you see that train sequence, right? I'll give you a little clip of that just to give you a little bit more in depth of how these puzzles kind of lay out, you know what I mean? But obviously it's interesting how fast these people come up with these ideas, right?
Since I was a kid. Okay, so we need tokens. Anyone see any tokens?
Need the tokens, man.
Wait, what does that sign say? All false advertising must be pulled.
Yeah, I noticed something earlier. Right here. This ad for Hourglass Bay, it says lose yourself in the sand. Yourself is missing an E.
Check all the signage. See if there are any more misspellings.
They're real quick to it. And for some of these people, they kind of show them as having some kind of PTSD or extreme trauma from the situation. So for them to kind of be back in the situation and in a panic, but then instantly be able to react and puzzle solve, can obviously throw you off at times, but otherwise they do a pretty good job.
Pass them down.
A, B, C, D, E.
Like, ridiculous right there, because obviously you see they like electrify the car, and you know it's zapping them at certain points and making arcs of electricity as things intensify and stuff, and it gets a little over the top, like I had said before. But the puzzles are very cool, and it's interesting to see some effects, because some of it is like stuff like I remember watching on like an Instagram video where somebody had taken like a jacuzzi and filled it with sand and then put air through it. So basically it acted like water, and you would be like quicksand and drop right in and sink. And at the same time, like as soon as you would turn that air out, it would just instantly turn to heavy sand again and you'd be stuck. So it was really interesting to see like that puzzle that you see in the trailer. Like, let me show you another clip of that. Like, look at how cool that is, like sinking right in and stuff like that. Some of that is really neat, and obviously they do it on a giant scale, because it's not just little stuff like this that starts falling. I mean, you see everything starts falling. But my dude right here, ballsy guy. You see people that obviously they protect each other a little bit more instinctively right from the beginning. And that's mostly because of the fact that obviously they've done this before already, and some of these people feel like they have nothing to lose anymore at this point. So that's also a cool aspect, and that makes things a little bit more intense than I'd say the first one was for a while, because these people are so inclined quick to sacrifice or do something extreme, because these are some of the more extreme picks, right? Okay, but either way, there's a lot of other cool little puzzles that they do, and I don't want to get too deep into it. I'll just give you my review. I would give this a solid 7 out of 10. It's pretty enjoyable. It's a fun movie, a decent sequel, I would say. I would say like the first one was good, maybe around the same rating, similar type of rating, but yeah, it wasn't bad at all. I wouldn't say it's way better than the first one, but yeah, it's definitely worth watching. I would check this out. And if you really like puzzle type movies and like kind of that suspense of that, this is a lot of fun. And the like danger that you're put in each scenario, the puzzles have multiple layers of instances where you can obviously, you know, die or something really bad could happen to you. So that's cool as well. And that kind of keeps you in the moment in each puzzle, to where like they're not boring at any time. I would definitely say they really keep the action rolling all the way through, and that's definitely worth watching if that's something you're into. With that being said, let's dive into some spoilers. Spoil. So spoil. Boop, ba-doop, boop, boop. Okay, so you come to find out that like, with all this stuff happening, that some people, if you didn't see them die, they might not be dead at all. And they don't really give you answers for certain characters, but at that point, you do kind of reflect for a second and realize, wait a second, there are a couple people that we've already seen not necessarily die, but, you know, just disappear kind of deal, right? So with that being said, are they going to show up in, let's say, a sequel if they do another sequel? Because that's kind of a thing they point at right away. Now, when it gets to a point where the girl and the guy, they're like separated in a point where she thinks he's dead. And then obviously he pops back up because she gets put in a room, and a character from the previous movie, Amanda, played by, what is that? Deborah Ann Woll. Man, smoke show from True Blood. basically she pops up and's like, look, I didn't want to do this, but they tricked me into it. They kidnapped my daughter and they got me to work on these puzzles with them. And they want you and your, super smart mind to be chosen to help them. And she's like, nah, I ain't going to do that shit, blah, 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 blah. Well, first off, one thing I have to say about that, you mean to tell me a company of this caliber that can do this much intense stuff and make these inventions and do all this kind of crazy shit really needs these few people's intensely crazy smart minds to solve these problems and work with them on new ones? No, not at all. That's not really too realistic to me as far as the weight of this movie. But getting people, let's say, as pawns to play the game and do fucked up shit to each other, that's a different story. If that's the way they'd approach it, I would definitely be a lot more inclined to enjoy that, right? But basically what happens is she manages to free my dude, right? And then her and Amanda and stuff, they kind of, try to escape and everything. But basically when they get out, the two main characters, right? They kind of alert the police and, they kind of go through the whole, like, trying to expose the company, and it's on the news and stuff like that. But then things start to seem a little odd on how quickly it happens. They decide to take a flight, which she was afraid of because of a plane crash when she was younger or something. And they take a flight, and then she notices a couple weird things and then notices, bam, this isn't over. Minos did a way bigger, way deeper, and big twist event at the end where they've even been in control of the damage control of this being exposed. They're in control of everything. They have hands in the police force, they have hands in everything you can think of, right? And that makes the company even more ridiculously grand and makes me not care about the main characters to a certain degree, because once again, they're acting as if they're driving to take them and convert them onto their team to work on these puzzles because of how amazing they are, when clearly this company is above and beyond anything they could ever imagine, right? But that's neither here nor there. Let's see what happens with that, because obviously, boom, another sequel. They're going to do God knows how many of these movies. If these keep being, let's say, successful in any way, shape, or form. I don't know how well this movie has been doing as far as sales, but I do know this type of stuff was pretty trendy for a while, especially I've been to a couple escape rooms in real life. It's a lot of fun. So I'd like to see if they're going to push for a third one, considering they're laying it out for a third one. And if so, I'd like to see that one to see if they are going to keep doing it like Saw, because this could easily be another Saw franchise, and I think that's what they want to do with this. But with that being said, once again, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. Definitely check this out if you love this kind of action, fast-paced suspense stuff that's all based on puzzles and stuff like that. If that's what you're into, you got to check this out. Otherwise, for the average person that likes suspense movies and stuff like that, it's still an enjoyable watch, definitely. All right, Zuka 2 out.
Feel like they tracking me. Yo, let me get on one. Nah, go get your tracks up. Homie, can I steal some? Homie, you can't stack up. My brother, can you shout me? You're barking up the wrong tree. My dog, why do you doubt me? Cause you can't do shit without me.
Real like the radio and never play it, but that's cool. The enemy's supposed to hate it.